The Crotchety Old Men Podcast is not a registered investment, legal, or tax advisor or a broker-dealer. All investment financial opinions expressed by or on the Crotchety Old Men Podcast are from the personal research and experience of the owner of the site and are intended as educational material. Although best efforts are made to ensure that all information is accurate and up to date, occasionally unintended errors and misprints may occur. Before you invest or make any investment-based decisions, consider your own personal circumstances. You should do your own research and seek advice from a financial professional.
Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Crotchety Old Men Podcast. Hi, I'm Gary Smith, one of the co-hosts of the Crotchety Old Men Podcast, and today in the studio we have the whole trio. My main man PC over there. What's up, though?
Hey, what up, though? How's everybody doing? It's a great Sunday. It's a great sunny morning.
Yeah, man.
Looking forward to a great day myself.
Absolutely. And we got the host with the mostest down there, George Cromley. Talk to me, George.
What up, Doe? How we doing today?
Man, shucks, we doing so exceedingly well. And we keep talking, we're going to sound like we bragging. You know what I like to say?
Though, right?
Yo, we're going to keep it crotchety. We're going to keep it crotchety.
Got to keep it crotchety, baby.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Those are guys I know and love.
Yes, sir. What's the topic of the day, fellas?
Okay, here back to finance. We just want to make sure that our audience knows that, when you die, your debt doesn't necessarily die with you. So the subject for the day is what happens to your debt when you die?
Now, most of the folks that hear you talking about that, Joy, are going to say, who cares? I don't care because when I'm dead, I'm done. But according to what I'm hearing you say, it sounds like that's not necessarily so.
Well, I think it's you're right. For you as personally, yeah, you're right. When you're dead, you're done. But as far as your heirs, and we've talked much, about leaving a legacy and how important that is. And if you think that your debt just, turns into vaporware when you die, that's not true. So it's something, again, that, we want to educate our audience on. The good news is if you have a 401k or you have a life insurance policy, which beneficiaries are named, then you're pretty much set. The creditors can't touch that money. But if you've got regular unsecured debt, you don't have a will, it has to go to probate. The first person that can step in is those creditors. They can file against the estate, and whoever the executor is has the obligation to settle your debts.
Interesting. How would a creditor find out or know that you died?
Notification. Yeah, you're supposed your heirs or whoever the executive is. Once it goes to probate, there is a notification through the local papers. It has to be filed for a certain number of days. So it's a public notice kind of a situation.
Okay.
So what if a person doesn't do the notice? Say, for instance, you don't have a will that anybody knows of or expects, and nobody does the notice. They don't publish anything in the law paper or whatever. What happens then, do you think?
I like that. What do you think?
You scheming about something. You're like, what happened?
Well, I've seen situations where somebody doesn't have a will. Okay, somebody steps in as an executor, and now they make the pronouncement that this person is dead. But if a person dies, you wait for the death certificate and whatnot, and I guess the hospital's not going to tell anybody. So how does that work?
Somebody's snitching.
There you go.
Well, I keep laughing because you're answering your own question, really. Like you say, okay, so if you don't have a will and you have stuff, it has to go to probate. That's the law. It has to go to probate. So in order to get things moving, somebody has to open up the case with probate. Other than that, I don't know how you're going to divide stuff up, you know. So once
Well,
you go to pro,
if you have 401k stuff like that, that's not probatable. If there's such a
right?
word.
That's why I say
But
anything with a
but other
beneficiary.
assets, hard assets are for sure.
Well, let's just talk about something simple. What about a bank account? Well, you got a bank account, you don't have a beneficiary on it. You know, how do your heirs get to that money? They got to go to probate. The
They would
bank is
have to
not
go
going to
to
let you
probate.
walk in and just say, "Hey, my dad died, and I got his account number here, and I want to take this money out." They're not going to let you
Right.
do that.
And
So
now
Yes, you can do
that goes back to the snitch.
Yeah, that's snitching and talking too much. Shut up. Okay?
Right.
Number one, you don't go in the bank talking about my daddy just died. No, hell no. Use the ATM card, fool, and take some money out
There
first.
you go. There you go, Gary.
Then you go in there talking about my
Right.
daddy died and all that noise. Because otherwise, they're going to freeze that account, number one, to George's point. And
Right.
you're not going to get any money out of there until that thing is settled and all that stuff. Now, that's when your problems are going to begin.
That's
And
right.
of course, and then if you get an attorney to parachute in at that time, then it's going to cost you more than it probably would have cost you if you just went on and got a will done. And hopefully a trust, depending upon your assets and things. But I'm not an attorney, neither are my other cohorts here, so don't y'all be shooting us no messages and stuff because we are not giving legal advice here. We're just chopping it up about something that is certainly needs to be addressed because there's so many of us probably are unaware that in the event of somebody dies, that those debts are still a responsibility of the heirs. And so that's one of the most important things, hopefully, the takeaway that you get from this episode.
yeah, well, I mean, one of the assumptions is that everybody's prepared for those moments, and if we can encourage our audience in any way, is make sure you know that you are prepared in those moments, and what happens. Like I said, we're not legal experts, but what we do know is if you have a will, that will has to go to probate. If you have a trust, it doesn't. You can skip over probate. So whichever one you decide. Now, if you have a will, it goes to probate. At least you have instructions as to what needs to happen. That will probably has an executor already named to it, and it's easy to walk through the process. But if you don't have a will, you don't have any type of after death type of instructions, you're really cheating your family because you leave that family in such a disarray as to making decisions on your behalf that you could have, talked about and devised before those circumstances. Because obviously nobody knows the time and place. So here again, the word planning comes into play at any age.
Yeah, and here's something else, too, to keep in mind now. I said jokingly about that ATM, but let me tell you something. If you're on a joint account or any account, and that person is receiving, let's say, for instance, Social Security, okay, and the Social Security checks comes on the 3rd, but here it is the 15th and 16th, you planning funeral arrangements and stuff, and you using that money and carrying on. Then the next month, another check hits, and you still haven't notified them. Now you can be getting yourself into a criminal situation
Absolutely.
called fraud. Okay,
Right.
wire.
Right.
And so don't do that.
Right.
Is what I'm
Right.
going to tell you right now. That's advice. Don't do that. That's not legal advice, just common doggone sense. Do not do that.
And then you have the other case. George was talking about an executor, which would be attached to a will. Now, if there is no will, the court's going to assign an executive of the estate, which is a tad different. What that executor of that executive of that estate refers to is a person that's going to pay off all the debt. So, people who jump in there trying to run stuff, they need to think about whether you want to sit down and pay all these debts, have receipts, and because it's an arduous process.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Smitty.
no, I just already said, before you get to the point of resolution or closing the estate and stuff, there's a lot of other steps you got to go through.
Right.
And I think what George has always says, Be prepared. Proper preparation will prevent a poor probate court situation. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's not fair to your heirs, and leaving them in those kind of situations. You don't want to have to, do GoFundMe to bury you, and all those kind of things. That's not what we're all about. We've got to be about our business in this day and time. With all the information that's flying from, left to right, you need to be informed, and you need to take care of the basics. That's all it is. That's all it really comes down to, taking care of the basics.
Yep.
Letting people know your wishes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And hey, I think Aretha Franklin, who we all know, she had written out a will on a notepad or something that was found in the sofa. All right. And do you know that was upheld in court?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I know people that have written it on a paper bag.
Right. So my point being that there's no excuse for not having one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No excuse or whatever. Get a witness. You got a witness to it and stuff like that, and you're in your right mind at the time. And I would assume that most of y'all listening to this podcast is in your right mind right now. So make a note. If you haven't done it already, make a note to write out your will. All right, after this podcast.
Right.
Do your heirs a favor. Do those people that you love a favor, so they don't have to guess about what your intentions were. They will know by the scribble that you put on it. And if you write like most people, I don't want to say most people, but if you write like some people, then print.
Yeah, print.
And that's what you're going to see most times, because most of these people that are going to school these days, they are not teaching them cursive.
That's another podcast, PC.
Yes, it is. It is. Because there are a lot of legal ramifications by not being able to write in cursive as well.
Yeah. Y'all, we try to keep a humorous format here, but the subject here matter is very serious, quite serious. Because and when you talk about heirs and estates and things like that, again, I'm talking to my brothers and sisters out there. That's how we lose so much wealth. It's things that we work so hard to accumulate, and it can be taken just like that with the stroke of a pen.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, we done summed it up. So which one of you guys got some words of wisdom to lead us home by?
Well, I thought he would never ask, Paul. Then now that he asked, here I am.
I got one sitting right here.
Okay.
Let's do it.
And it goes like this. Attract what you expect. Reflect what you desire. Become what you respect. And mirror what you admire.
Okay.
Oh, my.
All right. I like
that. Dr. Clemens has spoken.
In the house.
There you go. And as we always say on the Crotchety Old Men Podcast, hey, if you didn't know,
now you know.
Take care, brothers. Right. Be blessed. Be safe.
Peace.
All right.